Morning, folks. So on this deer butchering, got thinking about it. The last one I did a video on, and YouTube didn't like it. They took it off even. Then I complained and they put it back on. But it wasn't until after I'd missed all the revenue and whatever I could have made on it. So I'm kind of not going to show a lot of this, but what I've done here already is I've skinned him out, and I've taken off the front shoulders, the back strap, the inside tenderloins, and I don't cut into the spine to quarter them, because that's where that chronic wasting disease is, if there is any. So I cut alongside the spine, just clip the ribs on one side. Magpies usually have a lot of fun with this if I leave it hang while we butcher what I have cut up already. So I'm going to go ahead and quarter that and put it into one of these little plastic sleds and bring it in the house. Keep it safe from the birds. Okay, those are the biggest pieces. And inside we got the rest of it. These little S-wing hatchets, they work great for this. The shoulders, tenderloins, or back straps and tenderloins. The tenderloins, I'll have to tell you a story about that. That's pretty funny, really. So years ago, my cousin helped a guy pack out, I think it was an elk, and the guy had never got one before, and my cousin helped him, got it and get ready to quarter it, get ready for it to be carried out of the woods. And he says, well, the first thing you got to do before you do anything really is to get rid of these poison glands. And he says they'll make you real sick, and you shouldn't leave them in the woods either, because animals will eat them and die. So he put the tenderloins into his backpack, told him they were poison glands. Well, he swindled him out of the best part of the animal, really. So ever since then, these aren't tenderloins anymore, they're poison glands. All you really got to do with them is kind of wash them off good and wrap them up. First deer I ever shot, I took it into the butcher. They didn't know what we were doing. We still really don't, but we wing it and it works out. But I got one grocery sack back out of a whole deer, and I thought for sure that guy had cheated me, that he had taken all my deer meat and all that. And there's an awful lot of people that think that when they bring in their deer, especially for the first time, or even a beef cow or something like that. Once it's deboned, you don't get that much. You're really lucky with a deer to get a full grocery sack, and that's about what we got this time. We have two half sackfuls here, so one sack. We do have this yet. I got two big pans. They're pretty big. I don't know what these measure, but they're pretty good sized pans yet that we need to grind into hamburger. But yeah, deer really aren't quite as big as what people think they are. And all we really do is kind of chunk it up, and so it'll fit in a pan. As far as the fancy cuts, we really don't know those. We make a few roasts, make a few steaks, and a lot of stew meat, a lot of hamburger. We used to make a lot of jerky, but they got that. They could have that parasite now that's hard to kill, and drying it out doesn't kill it, so we don't make much jerky anymore. Kind of miss that. But anyway, we're done. It took most of the day, but we got that deer all butchered out. And put them in the freezer if we can find some room. Them chickens take up a lot of space.
Hopefully this deer tastes good, because it does have a strange odor to it.
Yeah, Cindy says I hope it tastes good, because this one is a little smelly. He's got a pretty musky smell to it. whether it's a deer or a beef cow or pig or whatever, you got to figure that the hide and the head, the guts, and all the bones, they weigh a lot. The actual meat, if you bone it out boneless, it's only about a third, maybe a little less than a third of the total animal. So you don't get that much. I mean, you get plenty, but it's not as much as what people think it is. Now, that was a shock. That was a shock the first time I brought it in and had it done. My aunt and uncle, they had a beef cow done, and they were pretty sure they didn't get their full amount of meat because it was a 1,000-pound steer, and yeah, you don't you don't get that much. By the time you take off all the stuff that you can't eat, there ain't a lot left. 1,000-pound steer divided by a third, it's only 333 pounds of meat. You think, well, that can't be right. It is. Let's see what a deer would weigh. Let's say he's, I don't know, 175 divided by 3. 58 pounds of meat. That's probably about right. That fills a grocery sack. But that's, you know, it's kind of disappointing when you see a animal that size and you think, man, that's going to fill my freezer. I'll have meat for years. No, you don't. Anyhow, thanks for watching and see you next time. Bye. Several people ask about my homemade chicken plucker. It's getting dark now, but you can kind of still see it. All it is a drill, a real cheap drill actually. But I took a plastic end cap for a water pipe, and I drilled a hole in the middle, put a carriage bolt in there so I could stick it into the drill, and then I staggered and drilled here and here and here and here. Tried to keep them balanced across from each other. Some holes in there, and then put some surgical tubing in there. And on the inside, there's just a knot to hold them in place. I should wait and do this in the morning where you can see it. But all that does is it just spins around like that, and it smacks those feathers and it pulls them out. And the commercial ones they make is really kind of the same thing. But this, I mean, it didn't cost me more than maybe $5, and it works really pretty well.